Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to react to this debate with Piers Morgan and some woke activists who apparently wrote an article for Rolling Stone. And we know Rolling Stone is a very woke publication. So I don't know what to expect. So let's see how this debate turns out.
I'm sorry, Ernest Owens. I do beg your pardon. Ernest Owens, thank you very much indeed for joining me. And now, I don't know much about you, other than you wrote a piece last week for Rolling Stone magazine saying cancel culture is good for democracy. So I'm going to come to that ludicrous premise in a minute. But I also remember you tweeting when I left Good Morning Britain, a series of tweets calling me a racist, including enjoying how folks keep getting Piers Morgan together for his racist tirades against Meghan Markle on Good Morning Britain. I was just curious, could you remember a single racist thing that I said about her?
Okay, basically, if you don't agree with Meghan Markle, you're a racist. That's what it comes down to.
Or have ever said about her?
Well, thank you for having me on, Piers. I was surprised when I
He's
found out
American.
I was on your show.
We're an uncensored show, Ernest. We take all types on here.
Well, all types. Well, there you go. But I think really a lot of it just seemed to be biased. I think that you was really just harsh on the Duchess of Sussex. And I think there was a little bit of bias in the way that you had really gone after her.
So why didn't he tweet, Piers Morgan is a little biased against Meghan Markle? There's a huge difference between being biased and making racial tirades or racist tirades. He knows exactly what he's doing. He and a lot of other race baiters hiding behind words such as bias or unconscious bias or microaggressions, just to accuse people of being racist without any proof, without any evidence.
Yeah, but Ernest, to be clear, I didn't ask you about that. I just said, what were the racist tirades? What racist thing have I ever said about Meghan Markle? I'm curious. You tweeted quite a few times that I was a...
Kind of similar to Harry and Meghan. They made such claims, but we have no evidence, we have no names.
That
I was a racist. I'm just curious, what was the racism?
I said your remarks was racist. I didn't say verbatim.
What were the remarks that were racist?
I think that it's biased. I think that you had a sense of bias of how you were speaking about her and how you was really being insensitive to her mental health and how you were denying a lot of her concerns.
Being biased or sceptical of some of her claims is not the same as being racist. What was the thing I said that was racist?
Racist tirade.
Do you want the person of color to speak, or do you want to just talk over me?
Nothing to do with your skin colour, Ernest. Sorry, nothing to do with your skin colour. I don't care if you're black or white or anything else. I just want you to try and tell me.
I mean, I'm not like, I don't agree with Piers on everything. During the whole pandemic, I didn't like his approach. And I think he kind of realised, that he probably was in the wrong in a lot of areas. But just because he doesn't agree with Meghan Markle, that doesn't make him a racist. And now he's asking for specifics, nothing.
Tell me, given you tweeted to your many followers repeatedly,
are you going to let me talk,
by the way,
repeatedly,
you did this...
Racist tirades. That's a very, very strong statement. Racist tirades. And now he seems to be unable to give one example of anything racist that Piers has said.
Repeatedly, you did this repeatedly. You have called me a racist repeatedly for racist things I've said about Meghan Markle.
I said you made racist remarks. I did not call you a racist.
To stand by what you tweeted. What was it I said about Meghan Markle?
I am. Would you let me talk?
Ever that's been racist?
Are you going to let me talk, or are you just going to overtalk me?
He does kind of interrupt a lot.
That's microaggression. You're asking a black person to explain how what you did could be perceived as racist, and rather than let me finish talking, you're over-talking me and being highly defensive.
Am I being racist again, Ernest?
Hit dog is hollering right now.
Piers does that to everybody. He does that to white people. I've seen him do it to vegans, white vegans. He does that to everybody. Let's not take everything as a reaction to your skin color. Your skin color doesn't have to be the very essence of your being. Just because Piers can be, a bit of a jerk sometimes, and he does that to everybody. It's not just now if he does it to a black person, he's a racist all of a sudden.
Am I being racist again?
You're being dismissive. Can I actually talk? Or
maybe because you're not answering the question,
what's the point of you on the show? Okay, so can I answer the question?
Yes,
Piers?
you can. Please do.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So your targeting of Meghan Markle's mental health, gaslighting her specifically, calling to question the legitimacy of her claims about the royal family being racist, you dismissing those claims.
Excuse me. According to Harry, Meghan never said the royal family is racist. So what's your response to that? Harry literally said his wife never claimed that the royal family are racist. And he's still sitting there basically backing those claims. How can you even sit here and defend them after that? They've now backtracked on the whole thing.
You consistently having a sense of badgering her and targeting her, it's felt like on my end that there was some racial bias.
Felt like.
Now, you may feel like it's not. Maybe it's sexism. Maybe it's misogynoir. Maybe it's a combination of both her gender and her race.
Misogynoir? She is not a black woman. I don't know how many times I have to say this. She is not a black woman and she doesn't want to be identified as a black woman. She certainly doesn't want to be treated like a black woman, as we've heard. She is biracial, and that's great. She doesn't need to be labeled as a black woman, especially when she doesn't want to. And there's a lot of evidence that she prefers to be seen as a white woman. Look at her hair. She has beautiful, thick, curly hair when she was a kid. Where is that hair now? Allegedly, she's had some work done on her nose to enhance the European side of her features, so to speak. So I don't know why people insist on calling her a black woman. And they seem to do that in America a lot. If you're biracial, this whole one-drop rule, which is a racist rule, by the way, it shouldn't be perpetuated in 2023. They're now calling her a black woman. She says it happened in the UK, which is funny. In the UK, it was a big deal that a biracial person, someone with African heritage, was marrying into the royal family. That was a big deal. And that's what the focus was. And it was celebrated. It wasn't met with contempt by the majority of people. It was celebrated because it was a new chapter for the royal family. There has been history of, people of other races within the royal family. We know this, but in this, immediate royal family, we have not had or seen a biracial person in our lifetimes in the royal family, and that was celebrated. So that's why people were making a big deal out of it. It wasn't necessarily that they were thinking she's a black woman. Some people didn't even know that she was biracial. But when they did, they were like, wow, this is a new chapter for the royal family. And yeah, so the whole thing of her being referred to as a black woman, that's very much, in my opinion, an American thing.
But it was perceived by thousands of people. 57,000 people had called Good Morning Britain about some of your behavior.
No, you see, you've got to be very careful, Ernest.
Mischaracterizing the situation on Fox.
Ernest.
You act like it's just Meghan Markle, but it wasn't just Meghan Markle. It was other people who had concerns.
Ernest, you do have to be careful when you spew more lies, unfortunately, because 57,000 people...
Weren't you not spewing lies?
I'm about to
Fox
explain
News?
What you just said was wrong, a lie. 57,000...
Or you're going to give your interpretation.
If you're going to let me answer
No, who's interrupting whom now?
57,000...
Go ahead, Piers.
Ernest, 57,000 people complained to Ofcom, the TV regulator, and guess what?
Correct.
5 months later, every
He
one
was
of the
vindicated.
complaints was thrown out, and Ofcom found in my favour to have my right to free speech and freedom of expression. But I come back to my initial point about you. You repeatedly tweeted to many people that I'm a racist, and I'm simply asking you to name one single comment. Ernest, one single comment I've ever made.
Between racist comments?
So,
who makes racist comments unless they're a racist? Come on.
did I say a racist tirade? What was it?
Yeah, give examples.
I felt like your attacking of Meghan Markle was racially biased.
Oh, you felt
You
like
felt.
You felt like it was your feeling.
I felt that way.
It was your feeling that I'm a racist, was it?
I felt like what you did was racially insensitive. I never said verbatim on Twitter that you were a racist. I said you made racist
actually, you
remarks.
just said,
I said you want a
enjoying
racist
how
tirade,
folks keep getting
and
Piers
there's a
Morgan
difference.
together for his racist tirades. We're actually looking at your
Yes.
tweet now, Ernest. And there were plenty more. In fact, while I'm talking to you, we'll dig the others out. Just go and dig them out, folks. Here's my point, Ernest. The reason that people think that I may have had a racist connotation to my criticism of Meghan Markle is because people like you, high-profile black people in America, kept saying that without any evidence. And now I've got you on my show. I'm finally able to ask you, why did you tell lies about me?
You're blaming the black guy?
I'm not blaming the black guy.
We're where he's holding him accountable for his tweet. You can't tweet that someone is making racist tirades and not give any examples when you're asked to. Give an example. And he's saying that you're representative of a lot of people in this culture now, this woke culture, that just accuses people of all sorts without any proof, without any evidence. And you'll be happy to see that person lose their job, lose their livelihood based on your feelings rather than based on facts.
The black guy, I'm blaming you as a high-profile black man for claiming wrongly and defensively that I was racist in my motivation towards my criticism of Meghan Markle, which, to be clear, my criticism of her...
He's literally making the whole issue of Meghan Markle about her skin colour, to the point where if you disagree with her being biracial means that you're a racist. But now that he's pointing out that you are, as somebody who's influential in Black America, I'm assuming, you've basically labelled him a racist, and you know full well that is going to have repercussions. That's what he's getting at. It's not about skin colour. He made it about skin colour. This man here, he made it about skin colour because he literally is saying that not agreeing with Meghan Markle is racist because of her skin colour. So now when it suits him, he wants skin colour to be the focus.
And Prince Harry is, I think they both tell lies. They both recently said they didn't mean to call the royal family racist when we heard them say it with their own mouths on national television. So my point to you, Ernest, is you can say these things. You can say these things on Twitter, but when you're actually held to...
Piers has said a lot of unflattering remarks about Prince Harry. Now, come on.
You said about Meghan Markle, and look at the impact it had on her mental health. You have a bigger platform than me, and you've attacked Meghan Markle, and it's impacted her mental health. And I feel like someone like me, as a black person, defending her as an innocent black woman in that situation, I felt like I was standing up for her. You need to be accountable for your impact and your power.
Oh, I stand by everything I said.
You have a big influence, and you're trying to play a victim.
I stand by.
I'm not a victim. And it was disrespectful.
No. You are the defender of the couple whose whole brand is based on victimhood. And I'm so sick of hearing about the whole mental health thing when this couple doesn't care about the mental health of their own family members. They don't care about the mental health of their own family members, including elderly members of their family. What about Thomas Markle's mental health? They go around gaslighting. They go around disparaging a whole group of people, perpetuating, nonsense with their propaganda, race baiting. They don't care about race relations throughout the Commonwealth, do they?
I'm not a victim and I'm not a racist.
Are you a victim, Piers?
Ernest, I'm not a victim and I'm not a racist. I'm somebody who listened
I never
to
called
that.
you racist. I said
listened to the Oprah Winfrey.
Stop saying you never called him a racist. You said he made racist tirades. What do you expect people to conclude from that? That he's a lovely guy who goes to the cookout every week? It's ridiculous. You keep saying, and he's a product of, he must see himself in Meghan and Harry because he's acting like them with this mental gymnastics that he's doing. That's what Meghan and Harry do. So maybe that's why he defends them, because he sees himself in them. This whole mental gymnastics, gaslighting, backtracking to make that tweet. But yet you can't stand by it now. Now you're backtracking. Same way Harry and Meghan were able to go on Oprah and call the royal family racist in front of the whole world. But now that they're asked, after about almost 3 years, to produce some evidence, they're backtracking. Because they know they don't have any evidence. I think that's the real reason Harry backtracked. Because they know by 3 years, you should have produced some evidence of it. And they can't. So now they're backtracking. Oh, we never called them racists.
So let me finish speaking. I listened to the Oprah Winfrey show. I watched it. And I identified immediately a number of lies. And I said that on air the next morning. Other guests disagreed with me, and you were delighted about the way they came after me, and that's fine. But then you said I was racist, repeatedly. That my criticism was racially motivated.
You're being intellectually dishonest. You did not just say she was a liar.
I don't like to keep pausing it because I want it to go, but intellectually dishonest, that's basically what you're doing. They accuse you of the very thing that they are guilty of.
Other aspects of her mental health,
No,
You
I said I
questioned
didn't
other
believe them.
aspects of it as offensive. Repeat what you said.
I said I didn't.
Repeat what you said.
I said I didn't believe her.
Why?
Because there is no evidence to support the claims that she made. She said she went to a senior
So
member.
her
I'm
expressing
about
what
to tell
happened
you,
to her, how she
Ernest.
felt, was no evidence?
Ernest, I'm about to tell you what I said. She said she went to a senior member of Buckingham Palace staff and said she was feeling suicidal, and that member of staff said she couldn't get help. That story
Lies.
doesn't reappear in Harry's 415-page book and has never been substantiated by anybody else, nor has it been repeated by Meghan Markle.
You didn't know that when you said that,
I'm
though,
afraid...
but you did not know that when you said
Sorry,
that.
I didn't believe it. It didn't sound true. And by the way,
But why?
I'm allowed...
But why you didn't believe it?
Ernest,
What is he trying to get at? Is he saying he didn't believe it because she's biracial? He didn't believe it because it doesn't make sense. Harry has been in therapy practically his whole life, and you mean to tell me that he couldn't find help for his wife? And then why go to HR? The whole story didn't make any sense. Why go to HR? Just go and find a therapist. The whole story didn't make sense.
Ernest,
You're allowed to. So you're allowed to believe that
Ernest,
she's lying, and I can
I'm
believe that
allowed
what
to
you said was
disbelieve
racially
her.
biased.
I'm allowed to disbelieve
And I'm
her.
allowed to believe
I'm allowed
that
to
what you
disbelieve
said
Prince
was
Harry.
racially.
Then she said she wanted to go to rehab. She said she wanted to go to a rehab facility while pregnant. That doesn't make any sense. Just go and get some counselling, especially, and also, she's somebody who I would assume if you're pregnant, you've got a midwife. If you're feeling, that down to the point where you're considering taking your life, you mean to tell me that the midwife couldn't have helped you, found someone to help you? She basically made it sound as if they made it impossible for her to get help for, mental health issues. And that's just not true. I mean, Harry was in Heads Together, where they were encouraging people to seek help if they need help with their mental health. So that's why people didn't believe her. It didn't add up. And she's thinking that we're all stupid, that we're just going to believe her. Or maybe she was thinking Americans don't know anything about royal protocols and how it works. So they're just going to fall for it. But obviously people who understand, even to the most basic degree, how royal protocol works with these things, it doesn't make any sense what she was saying. It just sounded completely fabricated. It really did.
Bias.
And I'm also allowed to disbelieve you when you call me a racist, because it's wrong. And you shouldn't do it.
I said that you made racist remarks. I did not call you a racist, Piers. You're trying to make yourself a martyr in a situation that you started. You didn't have to go disrespectful below the belt with Meghan. You chose to do that. And now you're mad.
He gave his opinion.
For what I thought was a disgusting attack on the British royal family.
You made ad hominem attacks against her character. You assassinated her character before the British press, and you know how the tabloids have been towards her. You understood what you were doing.
I've been just as scathing, if not more so, against Prince Harry, who I actually think is more to blame.
Didn't you? I want to know if this is true. Riddle me this. Wasn't there a point in time where at least you tried to pursue a relationship with her? You all had history before all of this happened?
No, absolute nonsense.
Okay, that was
another
nonsense?
lie. It's another lie. I met her once in my life.
Okay.
Wow. You see, he just wants to throw that out there. Piers said that they went for a drink once because she sent him some Suits episodes or whatever. And when she was in town, she reached out to him and it was like, oh, cool. They had a drink. And then he said that she ghosted him. And now he's isn't Piers a married man? See the slander that these people come up with. They're willing to slander people. They'd rather throw something out there, knowing it's not true, but believing that it will probably influence people. And wow, Piers is a married man and you're going on saying that. You're happy to come on his show and talk that nonsense. And again, if you're going to come out with stuff like that, bring the proof. Because nothing that Piers said about them meeting once spoke of them having or pursuing a relationship. He said that he thinks she went off to go on a date. That was probably the day where she went off to meet Harry. So how does that sound like somebody who wants to pursue a relationship with her? He was just giving an example that she ghosts people. And that's fact. She ghosts people. That's well documented. Even Ashley, her niece, said that she was ghosted. She's sitting on Netflix in tears saying that she never heard from Meghan she wasn't even invited to the wedding. And Meghan told her it's because of the royal family. And I really hope Ashley's still not falling for that. But that was another example of how she ghosts people. She sent her wedding rings back to her first husband in the post. So, this woman, when she's done with you, you're no longer, serve a purpose to her. She will dump you. And he was just giving another example of that. And we've seen plenty of examples. So look at her best friend. I think it's Pretty. Her name's Pretty, I think it is. Her best friend who she grew up with, went to the same school. She said that she was ghosted. So this is who he's defending. Maybe he is of the same character. No one can disparage Meghan's character. She does that all herself with her actions. And that's why she's heavily criticised. Because of her actions. Not because of her skin colour, which, is certainly not black. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what do you mean, okay? We found more tweets while we've been talking to you. Are you calling me a British media racist darling? What does that mean, Ernest? What does that mean?
It means that you have recently chosen, lately in your career, for whatever reason, you went the road of basically baiting into a lot of the biased coverage of Meghan Markle.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it has been
this is the
racist
problem,
attacks. A lot of it
Ernest.
has been targeted towards her in a biased way. And come on, can you admit that the coverage around Meghan Markle has been racially biased? Can you admit that?
Absolutely not.
Not talking about your work,
No, I think
but
it's
in
good.
general.
I think it's another load of absolute hogwash.
Racially biased?
So you're dismissing the role of race in all of this. You don't think none of this has a role
I'm
in
saying
any
the
of the coverage
British
she's been
media,
getting?
the British media has never been racist about Meghan Markle. And
Okay, that's just a lie.
And
It's not a lie. We're going to agree to disagree.
It's not a lie.
I'm sorry, but all they have is Exotic and Straight Out of Compton. Now, I read the Straight Out of Compton article, and yes, the headline, some people will take offence to that, okay. But it was an article about Crenshaw, where it says almost Straight Out of Compton, because they want to write about Crenshaw, where Doria is from. It's come a long way since the 80s and 90s. That's where Boys in the Hood is based on. And it was basically an article about where her mother is from. And that was it. But basically they got that and they had the Exotic. And that's literally all they can produce to claim that the British press were racist against Meghan. In the Oprah interview, when it was aired in the UK, ITV noticed that they literally doctored articles to make the British press appear more racist. Number one, half of those articles, or most of those articles, weren't even British publications. They were from Australia, America, from different parts of the world, but they were presented as British publications. And then secondly, they blurred certain words beginning with N to make it look like they just straight out called her the N-word. So deceptive. If she really was met with all this racist press, they would not have had to do that. To the point where ITV threatened CBS with legal action, and rightly so. I think they should have sued them regardless. They threatened them with legal action. And I think when it aired, they had to, not blur it out or whatever. So, don't tell me that the British press were racist towards her, but yet they had to make up stuff in the Oprah interview.
What is a lie?
No, it's not.
What is a lie, Ernest, is you telling people repeatedly, I'm a racist, and then you can't produce any
exactly.
evidence.
Where's the evidence?
I said you made a racist tirade.
Yeah.
And you're offended.
Same
But
thing.
here's the
I'm
thing.
not
You're
offended.
blaming me for the criticism.
I'm not offended,
You said
Ernest.
you're
I'm
blaming
just
me as a
calling out-
high influential black
I'm
person,
calling
a black
out your
American,
lies. And by the
for
way, it
why
has
people are
nothing
questioning.
again-
You're blaming me for your criticism.
It has nothing to do with your skin colour, Ernest. I don't care.
But you
I
literally
care
said
when
you
you
said I was
lie.
a black influential person. You named my race. You said you're a black influential person.
Yes.
And that's why people thought that way.
I think when
So why
high
did you
profile,
bring
That's your
my race into
brand.
it?
I think when high-profile black people like you
He said black.
go public on Twitter.
Okay,
and-
high-profile
Sorry,
black people
go-
like me.
Like
Go
you,
ahead.
go public on Twitter and call me a racist. People
Like you went public on Meghan Markle. Continue.
People believe it.